Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, we will be going over just in general what's to come across the United States, the pattern, whether it's going to be cold or warm or a lot of snow, lots of rain. Hopefully a shorter video, probably right around 10 minutes, as a lot of these storm systems that took 30-minute videos to talk about have now kind of gone by. So at this point, that seems to be kind of gone past. If you guys would like to support this channel, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. That obviously helps out a lot, and obviously do that once you figure out whether you like this channel or not, and if not, at least I could hopefully provide a bit of useful information. Otherwise, let's start talking about the long range, just the weather in general. Okay, so I want to start off by looking at the weather nation map of the National Weather Service. Notice that we do not have any large area of winter storm warnings or watches or advisories like we've had for the past really continuous 3 weeks. We've always had some sort of system. Notice there are some advisories across the Northeast into New England, into Boston, say Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. There is some snow that is still falling. If you're to take a look at the winter weather advisory, up to 1 inch of snow is still possible. So again, nothing too heavy at this point, it seems, but the snow is falling pretty heavily. If that radar, yeah, you could see that is some pretty good snowfall rates. So definitely something that could be overproducing. If you're to look further back across the map, let's see if this could load back. I guess I'll just have to type it in, National Weather Service, and let's take a look at this. Notice, again, not much going on. We do have some hard freeze warnings across the south. That is obviously to do still with the remnants of the snow that are still lying around quite a bit in some locations. We do also have, obviously, the cold temperatures as a result of that. Notice into central Mississippi, a lot of these locations, have been seeing already almost spring-like conditions prior to this cold outbreak. And look at that, 15 degrees potentially in this red area, 20 degrees and below 20 are still possible in this location. And obviously, the further north you go, the colder it will be. Notice that Jackson, right? A very large city in Mississippi. And if you're to take a glance at this, tonight, 90 degrees, right? Very chilly. And if you're to look at the long range, it definitely warms up. While there will be still nights that are really chilly, 32 degrees, 38 degrees, it won't be, 19. Right, so definitely a relief. Notice that the daytime highs will be warming up, 60s, right, and probably in the next coming weeks it will be seeing some 70s and 80s across those locations, even across far southern Texas where we have very cold conditions as well. Temperatures 32 degrees or below are likely for those locations, hence the freeze warning. Let's take a look at the total snowfall reports from the last several hours and see how much snow has fallen across these locations. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Notice that we haven't had any large, like astronomical amounts of snow anywhere across the United States with this past system. If I were to go back to, say, 48 hours, which encompasses a lot of the South, these amounts right here were heavy, but they're just snowpack. Those aren't actually snow reports. You can see that is 2 storm total, which is again from the both systems. So yes, one dropped around 10, the other one around 8. So for the South, these were very heavy amounts. I should have said that. But for Kentucky, this is generally not a blockbuster. There were some heavier amounts. Broadhead, Kentucky, around 6 inches, and across the Northeast, some of the more updated amounts. You can see put New York City, Central Park, pretty darn close to that 6-inch range across some locations. You can see right there, East Trenton, New York. East Tremont, New York, around 6 inches. It did vary quite a bit. This was as of 12:51. This was as of 9:58, and you can see it was almost a 4-inch difference. So a lot of difference between these amounts. Notice that across Philadelphia, same situation, huge contrast. Very light amounts across the city and south, but up to the north, very heavy amounts into Trenton. If you were to take a look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, February 27th through March 5th, notice that we do have some cooler potentially air across the west, warmer air across the east. Again, if you were to look at the 8 to 14 day outlook 2 weeks ago, forecasting for the polar vortex that already occurred, I mean, some of these colors were, across Texas in a 90 to 80 percentile. So, especially since we are warming at this time of the year pretty rapidly, I mean, it's already... Goodness, I mean, it's already almost late February at this point. We have, since February's a shorter month, we have just under 10 days left of February, and you can see precip still active across the east, and that's what's also concerning. Some of that could drop some pretty significant snow still, concerning in a sense. If you don't want snow, if you like snow, that's a good thing, I guess. 6 to 10 day outlook. which extends from the 25th through March 1st. Really the same thing, trending colder across the west and into portions of Texas still. Again, nothing barbaric, to say the least. And I do want to show you the 3 to 4 week outlook. So these 3 to 4 week outlooks are made on Fridays of every week, and today's a Friday as I'm recording this. This was probably made just 2 to 3 hours ago. Notice that in terms of temperature probability, this is what they're calling for early March. I mean, you know, from the 6th to the 19th, so pretty much the first half and beyond. Look at that. They're trending pretty warm temperatures across the northern central United States and above average, and I think that's going to be true. I do think that there could be some cold air, especially across the northwest and potentially a bit more than what this map is showing, and maybe into portions of the northern plains. But I do think it will be a warming trend, a pretty fast warming spring. However, for those folks across the north into Minnesota, Wisconsin, thinking that this will stop your snow chances, no. Again, a warm March does not necessarily mean no snow for your locations. In fact, I would argue that a warm March probably is favoring for some really large systems to drop snow, very heavy rain to the south, and that could obviously intensify the flooding threat or the warmth to the south. But to the north, you know, where that system snow could fall, I feel as if there could be quite a bit, to say the least. Okay, regarding okay, and the last long range forecast thing I want to show you, the last map, is the March 2021 forecast from the Climate Prediction Center made yesterday, the 18th of February, or yesterday as I'm recording this video, which is the 19th. And notice that they're favoring, again, potentially chilly conditions across northern, northwestern United States. I know I do have Canadian viewers. Unfortunately, it cuts off for your areas, as this is just for the United States, not for other countries. But, I mean, if you're just to use logic and basically what I'm seeing out of models, the warmth will be probably stretching out, especially into coastal areas of Canada. And I do think that a lot of Canada in these locations, if you live here, will be rather chilly and cold. Again, this is pretty rough. They do quite a bit of editing. If you recall that the February forecast for the month of February made in January, the first one showed warm conditions. And then the second one just jumped and changed everything as they saw those signs of very cold air, and it just indicated huge amounts of cold air across the country. Again, I think that there will be a warming trend. There still could be some stubborn cold air, which could obviously spawn some pretty large beasts for North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, and the West, and even the Northeast. And there are locations that across the Dakotas I haven't seen much snow at all. Again, I think that you could be picking up in some systems, you know, a foot to 2 feet plus. Again, the atmosphere looks pretty buoyant for those systems. The European model. So we have that system moving out today, right off the coast into Canada. And look at that. We have the high pressure, we have another low pressure working in off the coast right now. Moves through the mountains. Nothing too incredible in terms of snowfall, right? There aren't any large areas of winter storm warnings issued, more of a winter weather advisory type system. And look, it moves across the plains, right? A little bit of snow to Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit potentially, into the Quad Cities, Des Moines, Iowa, southern Canada, and the Northeast. And look, it does bring potentially a good thud of snow for Pennsylvania, New York City maybe even, but a lot of mixing does occur, and there could be actually quite a bit of rain across, again, further to the south, where they don't really need that, but that moves off. Nothing really too significant develops across the Northeast with this. Into southern Canada, though, there could be good amounts of snow that fall. We have another low pressure, you know, tracking right behind that, additional snow, light snow from that. I will show you the temperatures in just a bit. Obviously, not nearly as cold as what you've been seeing. Probably still some folks are paranoid of what's to come in the future. You know, just to give you a perspective, that cold air was something that usually doesn't happen on a decade basis. It has been occurring more often, but that doesn't mean that, you know, this rest of February will be as cold. That was rather a freak occurrence. That's not really an excuse to just diminishes that as freak occurrence. But notice that obviously warming conditions, and really the best indicator of that is rain across the areas where it should be. There could be still some snow across the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, though, again, as the cold pattern doesn't completely go away. It will feel warm compared to what it was, but not necessarily warm for late February standards. Okay, notice that we have a little system coming across Wisconsin into portions of Minnesota at around Wednesday, so a bit less than a week from now. These little small systems, right, and the Europeans' favors. You can see right there, rain across the Texas, Arkansas area, but look, snow potentially across Kentucky, southern Missouri, Illinois. And there's actually quite a few models that show some very heavy snow for the North Carolina area into Virginia. You can see the European Doesn't get too excited about that, but it does show snow for the Mid-Atlantic further to the north. But look at that, a lot of rain dancing to the south. So if you have 18 inches of snow across Arkansas, definitely the biggest concern I would say right now isn't really the cold air, but the melting. And on top of all the heavy rain that could be occurring. And just to show you that the European is favoring some pretty warm temperatures, at least compared to what you've been seeing. Let's go take a look at the 2 meters temperature anomalies. Notice that as we push this forward, obviously, so very cold conditions for now into the south, into the northeast and Midwest. I mean, you can see Dallas, though, you're at 44 Fahrenheit. You're not anymore at 1 Fahrenheit. So that's definitely an upgrade. And notice that the south definitely is reluctant to appreciate the cold air. It starts pushing the 32-degree line back way across southern Canada. Again, during February, these warm-ups are common, and it's actually unusual. For example, in my location, Chicago usually sees at least 150-degree temperature, at least once throughout the month of February. Each winter, unfortunately, or fortunately, this winter has not brought that for February. And so definitely February was a chilly one. So definitely just more of a classic spring type pattern. Warmer across the south, right? Extremely warm across the south, contrasting with pretty cold air to the north, still the remnants of winter. And here are kind of like the beginnings of summer, if you will. In terms of total accumulated precipitation, this is how much could fall in the form of rain or snow. You can see it does favor the south, is very good amounts of rain. So Little Rock, you have surrounding areas, you have around 2 inches in terms of water equivalent snow. You could get another 2 inches on top of that. You can see close to 4 inches. Now that would be obviously a concern, to say the least. In terms of additional snowfall, the European doesn't show any monster systems of snow, but it does show the snow chances even pretty far to the south. I do want to show you some models that actually advertise for quite a bit more snow across areas further to the south. Okay, GFS version 16. Run this through and notice what we start seeing are these large systems across the Midwest. Look at that. That's some pretty heavy snow across Minneapolis and Wisconsin. Again, there will be a lot of melting going on, but additional snow will probably be occurring. And look at that, more snow potentially very far to the south. For those wandering across the south, this is unlikely as this is very far out, but it's just showing you that if you get one of those little bursts of cold air still coming through, something like this will be possible. Any cold air that does come through will not be long term like the system or like the prolonged period of bitter cold we've had. It'll probably be short and sweet, not really sweet, short and cruel, but then it moves out. So that's a version 16 GFS parallel. I do want to show you just what it shows in terms of the precip radar. This is the 32-degree line to blue. Anything south of that is warmer. Notice that obviously snow systems pushing through, little rain events. Look at that, little bit of snow and rain potentially across the Carolinas. Some models show a pretty good system for these locations here from this storm. So definitely something to watch for. Notice that the GFS parallel doesn't really advertise that, but what it does advertise is a pretty strong system further to the north. Again, very warm conditions to the south, right? But to the north, a lot of snow, and that's obviously due with the colder. That's still plenty available. Look at that, potentially some sort of a system maybe across the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast. And we get towards more of a spring pattern. Look at that. We finally get rain pretty far to the north. But look at that, right there across Montana, the Dakotas. The snow chances will be going on. And that's usually what you see, and that's I would not be surprised by. In terms of 2-meter temperature anomalies, let's just run these through. Obviously, right now, still very cold, but like the south warms really quickly. Even the Midwest. I mean, the last time I think we saw 32-degree plus temperatures was around I'm trying to think, probably 2 to 3 weeks ago. So that would definitely be nice. Look at that, still very cold air to the north, but combining with very warm air to the south. That could spawn some pretty large systems, something to watch for. But look, in the future, 7th of March, 50s, 60s. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I know that some people aren't. I'm looking forward to see all the snow pretty much gone at this point. GFS, regular GFS model, 18Z. Let's take a look at its temperature. Again, very cold right now, and then pushing away rather quickly. But these two colliding beasts are still going to be kind of poking at each other, potentially spawning, quite a bit of some active storms and snow. If I were to show you the precip type and rate, you would see that indicator right there. We have a bit of snow this weekend. We see a low pressure sag to the south. The GFS is one of the models that advertises a large system across Carolina, North Carolina, and South Virginia. Southern Virginia next week, around a week from now. So not too terribly far out. Definitely something to watch for. Notice more snow further to the south across Chicago. Not as far to the north as what the parallel was showing, and look at that. More little chances of snow and rain, and a volatile pattern for sure. The Canadian is another model that shows that North Carolina system we have to watch for. And look at that right there, boom. And right after that, warm conditions, but just these little brief spawns, little brief systems could drop that heavy snow. That's all it's required. So here's a total snowfall for the next 78 hours in terms of the National Weather Service. So this is a National Weather Service forecast put in a model format, very beneficial. You can see pretty heavy amounts across the western shores, eastern shores of Lake Michigan. Definitely decent amounts of snow across the mountains and the northeast, potentially, not really the coastal areas. And in terms of the ensembles, let's take a look at the European ensembles, the United States. Reset the navigation. EPS members, United States, 15 days snowfall. Let me just run this through. So again, this is the operational Euro, and these are just little ensembles. Some don't favor a lot of snow, relatively. Still, you can see pockets of heavy snow across the northeast. Some are more lenient with the snow, some are a little bit less, and just running this through, you can see the difference there showing. Obviously, less snow to the south as the cold air will be lacking, but anywhere north of, say, Tennessee, North Carolina, Arkansas, Oklahoma area, including those states. So including those states and north, keep your guard up still for the snow and wintry weather, as even if it's a warm spring, these storms could spawn and drop a lot of snow in a short matter of time. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya.